Hello my beautiful people, welcome back. Today we are doing men writing women. If you're somebody who's like, what about women writing men? I've done that before too. I don't really want to waste time, let's get into it. The girl working the counter is a green-haired pixie who looks somewhere between 12 and 35. Whoa, what is she, okay, that's physically not possible. She's wearing sequined antennae that bob up and down when she talks. The grown-up part of my brain imagines that she tears the stupid things off and tosses them in the backseat of her car the moment she finished her shift. That's what I would do. The 19-year-old in me wonders if she sometimes wears the antennae when she screws her boyfriend and what it's like to look up and see her and those sequined balls bobbing up and down over you.
Uh-oh.
Between 12 and 35, huh? Gotcha, bitch. Okay, so first of all, no woman looks between 12 and 35. That's just not real. That's creepy. I'm sorry, but like once you're an adult, you can really see people's like age easier when they're younger. I swear to God, it's like a switch flips. My friend and I were getting her car washed the other day and it happened to be by a high school, and I just remember like being like, these are literal children. But when I was like 12, they looked so old and mature. So for a grown man to write, she looked between 12 and 35 is weird and just wrong. I see up here he says that bob up and down when she talks, and then it goes down and it says bobbing up and down over you, which is like another layer of the creepy, because it's like she's seeing how it happens when she talks, and then he's like, oh, what about in other positions? And it's also interesting how he says the 19-year-old in me. Like, sir, you're not 19, you're a grown-up thinking about that towards somebody who could very possibly be 12 from your imagination. And then there's the whole aspect that it's antennae. Just the whole other layer that we don't have to get into, but oh my goodness, what a banger to start with. At this point, her interest seems piqued. She moves up a couple of bar stools. I should know then that something's up. A woman like her would normally look twice at a guy like me, but you don't think like that. You think, maybe this one time, you're getting lucky, that maybe you deserve it. Maybe you caught a break. All bullshit, of course. I walk in like a fucking amateur. She should have had the words femme fatale stenciled across her forehead, or enter at your own risk stenciled across her ass. But enter I do. It just got worse and worse and worse. Obviously kind of like incel-y at the start. You think maybe this time I get lucky. Maybe this time I deserve it. First, you don't deserve it. That's such an odd way to look at people to me. I don't look at others as like, I deserve this. Like, I can put my best foot forward. I can try to be the best version of myself possible for somebody. But at the end of the day, like, I don't deserve another person. They choose me and I choose them. It's like a mutual thing. And I always think like the term like, I deserve this when it comes to people is such an odd way to phrase it. Like, it's one thing to have self-confidence, but being like, I deserve it, it's just a whole other connotation that I think is genuinely kind of weird. The enter at your own risk. Okay, so the femme fatale part, it's cliche and it's not great writing, but at least like you understand what he's saying when he says that. But then the next bit is just unnecessary, just wild. This is just bad writing. Sometimes I don't want to peek in these people's minds. I don't. Even if it's not the author, it's the character. I don't want to go into that person's mind. I won't enter. If it's at my own risk, I'll choose to stay safe. Thanks though. Why did he have to be such a perfect asshole? She rose from the sofa, hearing the plastic crackle under her body, and she tried to get the circulation going in her legs. Sometimes at the age of 35, Martha could feel the body yielding and the bones complaining and the breasts as if they had lives of their own, sagging audibly in the night. How old do you think 35 is? Do you think when people turn 35, they're like literally 1 foot in the grave? We have the first person being like, she lived anywhere from 12 to 35. And then you have this guy being like, 35 is the new 110. I'm sorry, we cannot skirt past sagging audibly in the night. What would that even sound like? I'm just imagining like 2 bags of jello or like water sloshing around. Is that like the audible sound? I cannot figure this one out for the life of me. Also why did he have to be such a perfect asshole? Feels like it's straight out of every romance novel with like a fucking mysterious bad boy kind of archetype ever. Her breasts were like birds, big, warm, wild birds. They throbbed, tickled, and waited. I don't know if I have to break this one down. I think we can just let that one live how it lives. It already left my mouth, and I think that could be enough for us to leave alone. Antonio stepped aside and magnanimously waved her in. Of course, how rude of me. Can I get you something to drink? A beer? Water? I can make some eggs for you if you like. I'm sorry you're very distracting. What was your name again? Sonia, she replied, and just getting Rowan will be fine. Persistent, isn't he? I find it quite flattering. Girl likes a little attention once in a while, even if it's from a douchebag. Dr. Douchebag. Oh, I just hate the whole stereotype that like any attention is good attention that women tend to get. Like you'll see this a lot where people will kind of be like, oh, well, a woman doesn't care if it's attention from a bad boy and she hates nice guys and she just wants to go looking for attention anywhere. Women aren't just sitting idly by waiting for some asshole to give them attention. And when you turn around and you're like, well then why did the girls end up with bad guys and douchebags and stuff like that? It's important to remember that people usually don't portray themselves as douchebags in the first place. That's kind of what makes this unrealistic, is that this guy is being a dick apparently straight up. And she's like, oh, well, the attention's good at least. Okay, so the context for this next one is this woman is leaving this man. She's leaving him, I'd like to reiterate. Her flash of hard resentment shocked him. I know you like to screw me. That's what you'll mostly miss. Why, you look so sorry for yourself, but the fact is, you never knew or cared for what you had. Eyes defiant, she flung the gauzy robe open to show him all the pink perfection he would never have again. Feeling cold and almost nauseated, he stood staring at her hard red nipples until his throat ached and tears began to blind him, because it simply wasn't true. He still loved her, as he always had, more than he had ever loved anyone, in the only way he could. I would like to personally take away the term pink perfection from this man's vocabulary so he never writes it down again. If somebody, listen, I know everybody's into different things and maybe people are into this and like I don't like want to shame you for like liking the term pink perfection, like some people might, but if somebody looked at me and said my pink perfect, if my loving girlfriend, my sweet girlfriend, I love her so much, light of my life, if she referred to my body as pink perfection, I'd be clothed. The ick that shivered through my body. And that's not even the worst part about this, right? Like, it's the idea that like this woman is being sexualized. She's supposed to be leaving this man and uncharacteristically is like throwing off all her clothes to be like, this is what you're gonna miss. Like, that's just unrealistic and weird and some kind of fantasy, right? But I'm just so stuck on pink perfection that I don't even care about all of that. Like, I just have to talk about the absolute, shudder through me when I read that. Followed up by her hard red nipples. What? Her pink perfection and her red hard nipples is just, I just want his pen taken away. No, this isn't a pen, this isn't a quill, this is his notes app. Take away his notes app. Jesus. You need to get proper smash before hooking up with me, huh? Naturally, then, of course not. He displays that false modesty, the almost childlike humility that I find so disarming in him. What the fuck just happened to me? What surfer bro just slipped into my fucking soul? I lean in for the kiss. Fireworks explode across our lips. Lightning passes in our heads. I'm so high now, I feel dizzyingly sick. That's a real word, I just can't fucking get it out of my mouth. An overload of feelings. I take off his polo, then I help him take off my shirt. I run my hands up his torso, feeling his muscles that glisten even in the near dark of the room. Edward Cullen? Whoa, this is graphic. Let me see if I can actually read this. Can I read this on the internet? Like, I want to because the way it's worded is worse than pink perfection, but okay, fuck it. My front bottom, tickling the 5 o'clock shadow I did not find time to trim earlier. My bottom grass. I'm so worried my neighbors can hear me. If you've noticed my volume go audibly down for that. I just moved to a new apartment. Imagine hearing that. Imagine hearing that just downstairs from the hallway. I don't fucking know. Like, this feels like another one I don't have to explain why it's like terrible, but can we also like, okay, front bottom feels like a term that a grandma uses to describe to like her grandchildren. It's like how my Oma used to call it a cookie and a hot dog. That's what this feels like, and it's childlike kind of vibe, and I don't like it, which is funny because he displays the false modesty, the almost childlike humility. Interesting. But that is an ick. Then it goes to tickling the 5 o'clock shadow I didn't find time to trim earlier. No woman has ever seriously referred, I'm sorry, ever. I usually don't make blanket statements because, you know, some people somewhere do something. No, this has never been said. Describing your own pubic hair as a 5 o'clock shadow in a serious setting, in a serious manner, and the fact that this is clearly supposed to be smut, because like, I'm not gonna read the rest of it, but you could probably put together what happens. This is your opening to something that's supposed to be erotic? My bottom grass. Well, in Bridgerton, they do refer to it as a garden in bloom, but the way that they do it, right? It's worded in like funny even terms because it's set in like the Regency era. This is just something else entirely. Mickey picked at the seam of her uniform as she watched the other girl lean back, her training wheel breasts lifted toward the sky as if it were the most comfortable thing in the world. That's not how boobs work. That's just fit. Sorry, I just had to test it but I know that's like, because I have them. That's not how it works. What? The idea that like leaning back, they would go straight up is just beyond physics. That's not how physics work. Actually, boobs, you know, are weight on your chest. I'm done explaining physics in these videos when it comes to breasts, so we're gonna move on from that. Training wheel breasts? Oh no. This feels like an underage character. Lily said she had to wait until high school. Okay, yeah, it is. Training wheel breasts is just a terrible term that I never want to hear again in my life, and therefore I'm gonna move on because I think we can all see why that's just weird. Like, sometimes I say that because I just like to believe that people watching this video can put 2 and 2 together on why a grown man writing the term training wheel breasts and then also getting the physics of breasts wrong in the same sentence about this underage character is weird. And I know sometimes people will say like, oh, but it's written in the mind of the younger kid. But even then, like, a younger kid wouldn't think in those terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the other character is the same age as this girl, that little boy would never be thinking in the terms that this adult man is using for it. So it doesn't even feel as if it's written like as another younger character because of the way it's written. So it makes it like weird again. It's not written as if a little boy was looking at another little girl or something. It's written as if a grown man is, because this is just bad writing and bad character. The mattress stirred. He heard the strike of her match, felt the heat, and the tidal pull of her lips. She was naked, and the urgency of smoking did not disturb her breasts, which were hard and still like turtles. Every time I think that there's no other way to describe breasts, I'm presented with something just completely out there. Turtles? Turtles? I don't even get this one. A hard shell? The shape isn't even close. I don't, like, a turtle is a creature. It's not even... Guys, this is getting physically hard to read. It's all fun and games until some woman's breasts get compared to turtles. Also, the urgency of smoking did not disturb her breasts. Just imagining like the nipple having a mouth being like, hey, give me a light. Hey, give me a cigarette. So stupid. Monk season 2, episode 15. And then it says, I still love Monk though. She was beautiful, but she didn't know it, which made her even more beautiful. Now this is a classic. I've seen this everywhere. This is not exclusive to this TV show. This is not even exclusive to men's writing. I've seen women write like this. This whole idea that like when somebody doesn't realize they're beautiful, it makes them so much more beautiful. And it just is strange to me because it's like somebody feeling insecure is what is beautiful to you. And I think like what they actually mean is like they're beautiful because they're not cocky about it, they're not like a dick about it, but the way it's worded is as if they like don't recognize they're beautiful, which means that like there's an insecurity there. And so this overused phrase just has always left a bad taste in my mouth because of the way it's worded. I think there's just better writing, better descriptors, and this makes no sense. It's kind of like What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction in a line that's used over and over and over and over. And I love that song. And I'm not saying I can't enjoy content where this phrase exists, but for the love of God, can we stop using this phrase? Because not only is it just kind of stupid, but it's so overused. George pulled off her shirt, her small round breasts tipped with large childlike nipples, child's breasts she still had at 40. Please stop using childlike describers for women's bodies. Please stop using childlike describers for women's bodies. Please stop being attracted to childlike features that are sexual on women's bodies. Can we please, as a society, stop doing that? Like, I'm grossed. I'm grossed out. I'm icked out. I'm so done. I'm done. We're done. We're ending on that one. I don't even want to. Bye guys. If you want any of my other socials, down in the description. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I'm making more. Nice. And with all that being said, talk to you guys later. Bye.